The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Welcome back to Probably a Podcast, guys. We're gonna shake things up. We're gonna really shake things up around here because you guys have asked for this for a very long time. I got really sad whenever I posted on my Instagram, like, something you guys have been begging for since the podcast started, and a lot of you were like, your mom, and I'm like, no, we're still hammering down on Sharon K. Send her a note, send her a letter, like fucking Snooki and JWoww did. To Sam, write her an anonymous note, okay? Need her on. That is not what we are doing. We are doing something that you guys have asked for a long time. I always thought it was a good idea to do a Very Cavallari recap, okay? Very Cavallari. I would not have this podcast if I didn't have Very Cavallari, I'm sure. Like, I don't know. Maybe actually I would have started a podcast because I would have been one of those bitches that are like, people would love to sit around and hear me talk for sure. But I do think, obviously, Very Cavallari was was the catapult, was the springboard for what my career is now. It was such a huge part of my life. I also loved being a part of Very Cavallari. I loved talking about it. It was a really positive experience for me. There was a very large negative experience attached to it, but on the whole, it was a really great experience for me. So I am one of those people who is happy to talk about it. So I know that there are a lot of rewatch podcasts going on these days, and I listened to Kristin and Steven's Back to the Beach, and I was like, okay, how did they navigate this rewatch episode? I mean, obviously there was a much more iconic show and was so much long ago. Ours seems like forever ago, but it actually wasn't that long ago. It aired in 2018. It's 2024. Math is math, and that's 6 years ago. So 6 years doesn't seem like that long, but boy, can things change. So I figured, why not give you guys a rewatch episode of Very Cavallari, but do it my way. And my way is that I want to spread them out. You know, I don't know if you guys are listeners of Probably a Podcast and you've never seen Very Cavallari, so you're like, bitch, I don't want to listen to this. Or maybe you're like, oh my God, I've been dying for you to do one of these. Maybe this will be a great opportunity for you. Oh God, I didn't think I would cringe as much as I was cringing. Like, rewatching these, like, everyone always asks, like, has James seen the show? Has James seen the show? I'm always like, no, he hasn't, but I wouldn't care if he did. No, I mean, we don't sit around and watch myself on TV. Like, no. But, like, I never really felt any type of way. Like, if James had called me and been like, I watched your show this week, and I'd be like, too funny. LOL, you must have been bored. Guys, I rewatched it because I have not rewatched. I'm not kidding. I'm not lying. I don't watch it every night before I go to bed. Okay. So I really have not seen this in probably 5 years, 6 years. And when I tell you I rewatched it and I was like, jump scare. Jump scare. Ooh, my teeth, my fucking teeth. Holy shit, my teeth. Like, chomp, chomp, chomp. At the time, when they were making the Mr. Ed memes, I didn't get it, which is crazy. I was like, whatever, I have a big smile, like, whatever. No, you guys, like, they were dentures in my mouth, like, and I didn't have my bottom veneers done, and I just, like, oh boy, like, my bottom teeth were still, like, smaller. They were like surfboards on my fucking face, okay? I just really bad teeth, anyways, like, they didn't fit my mouth. You could see, like, my cheeks were, like, almost like pushed out. Like, you know when people have braces and the braces are new? That was like my perpetual state of life. I can't even believe my teeth looked like that, okay? So anyways, that was jarring to say the least, and I cringed a lot at a lot of things. We'll get to that. I didn't expect to cringe as much as I did. So anyways, we'll go through it all. All of that was to say, if you guys want to rewatch it with me, I'm going to do it. It is not going to be week by week because I'm going to spread them out. Like I said, this is my podcast. I can do whatever the fuck I want, but we're going to have castmates on. The goal is I'm still friends with basically every single person that was on the show. There is one relationship that didn't fare quite as well. That is the relationship that I have with Britney. Obviously, we got in a lot of fights on the show, but some are real, some are fake. I'll get into all of that. I would love to have her on. You know, we still have a lot of mutual friends. Maybe I'll reach out to them, kind of get the feel of the water. I am currently still blocked on Instagram for good reason. So yeah, I don't know if we'll get all of the castmates back on. I would love to have Britney on for an episode because, you know what, like, I owe her an apology for sure. And you're young and you're dumb and you make mistakes. So I'd love to get her on the show. I feel like enough time has passed now for me anyways that I can see the errors in my ways. Like, if you would have, and that's another reason I'm so glad I'm doing this rewatch so much later, because if you would have asked me like forever and ever ago to do a rewatch, I don't know, like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, yeah. And then who knows what I would have said. Like, I just feel like I was still in that phase where I was like, yeah, I'll say this about that person, this about this person. Now rewatching, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I have so many like things to say and so much responsibility to take for certain things that I did on the show and said on the show that require responsibility to be taken. So I'll do that. I'll also be very honest about parts of the show that I thought were not super real. People ask me, that's probably one of the most number one asked question, like, what like, was the show real? And the show was real. The show was really real. They just kind of put us in situations and in environments that we maybe were a bit contrived. Like, they told us we were all going to go to the park and sit down together and talk about yesterday's party. Like, they told us we were all going to have a Sunday fun day, and like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But they would ask, like, maybe you would want to sit next to this person. How does that make you feel? And I would tell them how it made me feel. And they'd be like, go tell her, go tell her. So like, just kind of, they would never feed you lines. They would just kind of almost feed you opportunities, which is really just how reality TV works, But overall, I had a really pleasant experience. I am going to shoot an episode with Worth after this, and it's going to be fantastic for episode 2. But like I said, they're going to be drip fed to you guys, spread out a little bit. So come along for the journey if you wish. You might learn some stuff. You might laugh regardless if you haven't seen the show. But yeah, that is how I got my start in this crazy, wonderful world of social media. I was on a show when I was 23 years old. It was called Very Cavallari. It was an E exclusive. So that's important to note, because let me break it down. Let's talk about my life before the show. So my life before the show was, I was 23. Me and Taylor were definitely best friends at this point. We'd probably been best friends, really, really close friends for 3 years at that point. So we were really close, and this is something that is wildly talked about in the sense of like Very Cavallari, because some castmates, I don't know if in the beginning they didn't really want to admit this, like they wanted to act like it was really organic, but the show was all about Kristin Cavallari and her brand Uncommon James. She was starting a lifestyle brand. It's still a very thriving brand. There will be no Kristin or Uncommon James slander on this podcast. I think she's a great person, and she is. I have her to thank for all of the opportunities that I have now. I am my own person. I have paved my own path, but she definitely gave me the springboard, so I appreciate her, and hopefully maybe I can have her on the finale. Who knows? She'll probably be like, girl, I ain't doing that, but maybe she will. Who knows? So anyways, this show came about. There was Kristin, who moved basically back to Nashville with her husband at the time, Jay Cutler, and their family, and she was starting a lifestyle brand, and that was all real. All of that was real, and it was true. And it was basically a real job. I had the real job first. Mark Block, from day one. He is such an integral part of this entire process of the show. Like, he should have been giving casting credits in the show. Maybe I'll have him on for an episode. He was just like so important. So Mark Block is one of my dear friends. He'll be at my wedding. He's actually coming with Worth. They're going to go on a trip before that with Kat and Worth. Anyways, he is a modeling agent, okay? And he has a modeling agency in Nashville, one of the only 2 huge ones in Nashville, okay? And he basically knew Kristin and Jay. He was friends with all of them like beforehand. And when she brought up the idea of this show, I want to open this store, or not store, but like I want to start this lifestyle brand, and then I want there to be a show around it. I'm going to pitch this show. Mark was like, okay, I'll get you cast members. She was like, it needs to be real. They, from day one, like projected it to us as a Vanderpump Rules style show, right? So they were like, this show is going to be like Vanderpump in the sense that Kristin is Lisa Vanderpump. She's the boss. We follow her life a little bit. We have little tidbits of her and Jay, but for the most part, it's all about the drama surrounding her employees, okay? And that's important to note, because I remember Kristin told me personally, she's like, I've done reality TV. I've had my drama. I've done the thing. Now I want to like be kind of like the behind the scenes, and you guys have all the drama, and I kind of just like step in and like talk to you guys about it. So that's what the show was about a lot more. And I know as the seasons went on, it definitely shifted more towards just Kristin and her life, because I think honestly that's what the people wanted. So that's what it shifted towards. But this is how it was, pitched to us. And when Mark said this, I was like, cool. I want to be on a reality TV. That's not true. I actually said, I don't know if I want to be on a reality TV yet. And I've said this before on a lot of podcasts. I was very apprehensive. I don't know why. I worked at a law firm at the time. I don't know where I saw my life going or my career going. I was broke as shit. I was 22, living in Nashville. This is 22 was before the show aired when I was 23, but I mean, so much time before that. All right, so you guys know that James is European, and I don't know if y'all know this or not about Europeans, but it's so funny to me. They don't sleep with a top sheet. Isn't that crazy? Like, they literally don't sleep with a top sheet. I can't fathom it. Anyways, also I could never wash my duvet cover that much, but I am team top sheet, okay? I love a top sheet because my sheets are the best sheets in the entire world. They are from Boll and Branch, and you cannot beat, I'm telling you, you cannot beat the sheets from Boll and Branch. They are so good. They are so soft. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm a morning person, but honestly, it just makes me want to stay in bed for so much longer because they're so cozy and comfortable. And with spring cleaning and reorganizing and deep cleaning and all the things that come when you're trying to refresh your home, there's nothing you could do better for yourself, okay? For yourself, for your mental state. And if you have a partner, for your partner too, then get a fresh new bedding, okay? Refresh your bedding and go with Boll and Branch because it is not comparable. Like, The difference in how soft this is, all right, they're so breathable. They're so, sometimes sheets can be really soft, but then like you feel like you're kind of suffocating in them. You're like, this is soft, but I can't breathe. These are breathable. They're soft. They get better with each wash. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm not kidding. They actually get better as you wash them, which is crazy. There's over 11,000 5-star reviews. They are made with the most finest 100% organic cotton. We love organic cotton around here in this household. James is very serious about organic cotton, okay? And they're completely free from toxins. Like I said, they feel buttery soft yet super breathable. They're perfect for the warm months, but they're also perfect for cool. We like to sleep in like freezing cold temperatures, and they still keep us nice and warm too. So they're loved by millions of sleepers. They also give you guys a 30-night worry-free guarantee, so you can wash, style, sleep in their sheets for an entire month. And if you don't love them, you can send them right back. But I promise you, you will not be doing that, okay? Because it's not just sheets. Boll & Branch has the airiest blankets, most like cloud-like duvets, fluffiest pillows, and so much more. Boll & Branch signature sheets, they come in 14 versatile colors, okay? And all sizes, by the way. Twin, up to California King, you name it, they got it. And they're designed to feel incredible for all sleepers. Like I said, made without toxins. That is very, very, very important here. And you want that because you're putting your face all up in your sheets, okay? So they're free from synthetic pesticides. You can just feel really, really confident knowing that there's no formaldehyde in there. There's no other harsh chemicals. And Boll & Branch offers a 30-night worry-free guarantee with free returns on all U.S. orders. So sleep better with the softest, most breathable bedding from Boll & Branch. Get 15% off your first set of sheets plus free shipping when you use promo code PROBABLY at bollandbranch.com. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com. Promo code PROBABLY. Exclusions apply. See site for details. So basically, I didn't have much or really anything going on in my life, but for some reason, I just thought I was so above reality TV. I remember The Bachelor had asked me to audition a couple times. Maybe like Survivor had asked me to audition, and I was just like, and no, I'm like, I cannot do reality TV. I'm so much clearer on reality TV. And then Taylor gets the same call because Mark Block tells all of us, Kristin's starting this lifestyle brand, this jewelry brand. It wasn't lifestyle at the time yet. It was just jewelry. She started a jewelry brand, and, she needs employees in real life, and then they're going to do a show about it. The show, this is the part that I feel like a lot of cast members don't say. The show was always talked about before anyone before anyone interviewed for a real job at Uncommon James. Everyone knew there was a show about the people that work there. Okay. So I'm like, I don't know about reality TV, but I'd love to get a job with Kristin Cavallari. That sounds cool as shit. So for sure. So he was like, she needs 2 roles. She needs a shipping department person, and she needs someone to run their social media. So I interview with Kristin. Taylor interviews with Kristin. Everyone interviews with Kristin, like a ton of people in town. And I got a call back for the social media side of things, but I didn't get it. I think like Mark Block tells this side of the story, and Mark Block basically says that like Kristin didn't put me in the running, and whenever Mark asked her like who's up for the roles, and she said like this person, he was like, what about Shannon? And Kristin was like, she doesn't have any experience. That is true. I had no experience, like 0. I was like, I dropped out of college and went to school for political science, and now I work at a law firm. So like I don't like, I'm the receptionist / wanting to be paralegal at the law firm. Like, I have no experience, but it was a really great interview. And afterwards she texted me like, hey, I don't think you're right for any of these roles, but I will say, I think you're perfect for the show. We're going to eventually have a show, and I'd love to have you. You're a great big personality. We'll fit you in somewhere in the business down the line when we do a show about it. And like, for now, I'm just going to pass. I'm like, cool. Well, then I get a random email from her that's like, it didn't say just kidding, but it was just like, we've actually tried to think about some blah, 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 and maybe actually could you send me some captions for these photos? Now, Mark tells me later on, Mark says that, yeah, she said that you weren't right for the job. And then I told her you're making a big mistake. Shannon's really good with social media. So shouts out Mark for getting me that job. And in the beginning, I need to make this very clear. Like, this is my time to just like air it all out. I am a hardworking individual. Like, I'm a hard worker, but at that phase in my life, like I was 23 years old. I didn't have like this like go get 'em attitude like I should have had for being handed such an amazing opportunity. I did in the beginning. In the beginning, I was all hands on deck. I was impressing Kristin left and right. Like, I was really, really good at my job. And I will say, I did have the fucking riz, the pizzazz, if you will, that a lot of people were lacking for company-based Instagram. So I sent her back captions to these photos as like the last, I guess she had like 3 other people that were in the running to be the social media manager. And she did, I could probably still find the email. She wrote back and was like, all of your captions just made me laugh my ass off. Me and Jay are cracking up, like, you're hired. And I got hired because I said like, I went to Kendra Scott. I remember this. I went to Kendra Scott and I was like, okay, I need to make these captions sound like Kendra Scott. Like, this bracelet is from day to night. Okay, this bracelet is from you're 9 to 5 to it. And then I was like, that is so not me. Oh my God, that's not how I talk. That's not why Mark is telling her I'm good at Instagram. Like I push the envelope. I'm sarcastic, like whatever. Like they're like, there were these earrings called like bite me or I don't know. I was just like, I made all the captions really funny and really like kind of sarcastic and pushing the envelope, and I got hired for it. So that was great and wonderful. And I did know a good bit about social media at the time. For that day and age, social media like jobs weren't a huge thing yet. Okay, they became a bigger thing. Like now there's literally you can get a college degree in social media marketing. At the time that was not like offered. So I did well with the skills I had. All right. Anyways, so I get the job, and then fast forward, we film a pilot. Or they call it a sizzle. Okay. They film a sizzle. It is so crazy to look back and think about this because, and the pilot never aired. A lot of reality TV shows or, first season shows will have the pilot as the first episode. And the first episode will literally be labeled pilot and then like the title. Our pilot, I would just die to see it because it was filmed so far before the actual season was filmed. It was so wrong in the sense that like, here, let me break this down for you. I couldn't even tell you the concept of the sizzle, but basically it's like Kristin has a, business. We all work for her. I was single. Taylor was single. John Gurney was single. Worth was dating some random 21-year-old girl. Britney and this other girl were like fighting because the other girl dated Britney's ex or Britney's boyfriend at the time. And it was the other girl's ex. There was two people that weren't even really a part of it anymore, but they were on it. And it was this whole thing. And basically the sizzle ended with Taylor and John Gurney making out. And I remember they were like, go kiss John Gurney. I was like, ooh, I would never kiss him. He's like my best friend. And they were like, okay. And then Taylor, I was like, you have to go kiss him. She's like, oh my gosh, no. And I was like, no, you have, not that no one wanted to kiss John Gurney. Okay. He wasn't that undesirable. Don't think that. But Taylor was probably like, I don't want to make out on camera. And I was like, go do it. And so she did it. So like, fast forward 6 months later, 6 months to maybe even 8 months later was when we started filming the show. Everything had changed. Worth was dating his now wife, Kat. Britney, I think, was still together. Yeah, of course she was. She was still with Stone. The other girl decided she didn't want to be on the show. She moved back to Canada or got married or something. And Megan, she was great, but I don't think she ended up wanting to be on the show. I was now dating John Gurney and was so like scared to tell the producers that we had decided to like not be friends anymore, but date, because I thought they'd be like, no, we needed Shannon to be single. And I desperately wanted to be on this TV show once it all came about, because once I found out the show was happening, and me and Taylor, we interviewed for the show, and they were all so hush hush about it. It was hard to want to be a part of something that they couldn't really explain to you. They couldn't tell us any details because it was all so confidential at the time that I was like, what are we even signing up for? And Taylor, I will give her credit. Taylor was the one that was like, we should do this interview. And then the producers were like, we want to interview you and Shannon together. And we were like, oh no. Is this going to be one of those things where they like pin us against each other as best friends? Like I remember talking to our moms about it. Like me and Taylor being like, we're so scared that they're going to like ruin our friendship. Like we're such good friends. Like I don't want to ruin that. I am so thankful to this day that they portrayed our friendship the like most like iconic, like girls to girls, like BFFs. Like it was the best thing ever. And they could have taken it a totally different direction and it could have really like sucked for us. So very thankful it went that route. But basically we interviewed together, and from that point forward, they were like, y'all are BFFs and y'all have to do everything together. And we were like, okay, we love it. We already do everything together. Perfect. So anyways, fast forward to when we start filming. I do tell them, I'm dating John Gurney now. Taylor's like, I have a boyfriend. Worth's like, I'm in love with this girl named Kat. Like everyone's like, everything's changed. And they were like, okay, we'll work with it. So I don't know if we were all super prepared for how this show was going to take place, because we were now like, what's the storyline other than we're just like all working for Kristin? They had to make it all make sense, right? If you know me, you know that I'm not trying to be in the grocery store, okay? I love convenience, but I also love nice things. And I want things that are nice delivered right to my door. That's just who I am, okay? Time is money, baby. And I don't have time to go to the grocery store. And you always run into like everyone you don't want to see in the grocery store. So I'm team Thrive Market, all right? I have your groceries delivered team, especially because it cuts out all the unnecessary purchases that you tend to make when you're strolling aimlessly down the aisles, all right? So my favorite thing to use is Thrive Market. I'm obsessed with Thrive Market. I love Thrive Market. I've been using them for years now. It's my favorite thing because it also ensures that I'm ordering healthy groceries. Thrive Market just has so many great things. Their brand in general, like the Thrive brand they have, is fantastic. And there are really a lot of healthy alternatives to food that I've discovered while using Thrive's grocery subscription. So some of my favorite brands they have, they've got so many, like Amy's, Four Sigmatic, Primal Kitchen, The Honest Kitchen, Chomps, like whatever you want, and tons more. They also have way more than food, okay? They got bath, body, beauty, baby supplies, all of it, all right? Delivered right to your door and with serious savings. Because I'm a visual kind of gal, so like Like when I'm on Thrive Market's website, I love that they show you the exact amount that you're saving on the groceries right there in red with like a little slash on it. Because you really do save so much money compared to when you actually go to the grocery store. And they even tell you the percentage off that it is. So you really do get like so much better prices than you would at a normal grocery store, which is also saving you time, money, and energy. So my last order, I feel like had a total savings of like 24% or something like that. That's so much. They also have a price match guarantee, which I love. So you can curate the shopping experience to your dietary preferences or like whatever you want. Like if you're keto, if you're gluten-free, whatever, if you want to make it easier, you can just like type that in and it's going to tailor the website pages to show you exactly that, like toxic free cleaning supplies, the vibes, like whatever you want, they can tailor the website to you. And my favorite thing about Thrive Market is knowing that when you join, you are also helping a family in need with their 1-for-1 membership matching program. So you join and they give someone who needs help the groceries to feed their families. And I just love when big businesses are giving back like that. All right. And I also have a discount code for you guys. Of course, y'all know I hooked it up. So if you join Thrive Market today, you'll get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. So go to thrivemarket.com/probably for 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/probably. ThriveMarket.com/probably. I remember in early days, like, and I'm probably going to get some of this wrong. And if you're listening to this in your cast member or, if anyone's listening to this, they're like, that's not how that happened. Like, maybe that's true. I want to have some producers on the show too, on the rewatch, because I'm still like really close with some of the producers and I love them and I have great relationships with them. So it'd be great to have their side of things as well, their take. But at some point, maybe we'd already started filming. Couldn't be. It was before we started filming. I'm pretty sure we had just like all talked about like what we were going to do, what the line, not the line, the storyline. The storylines were going to be, it's like Kristin has her employees and this person is interested in this person because of that. These people make sense because of that. It all has to flow, right? And at some point, I don't know when it is, Kristin basically said, like, we need just to me, she was like, we kind of need a villain. She didn't sit me down. She didn't take me to coffee. It was just in passing. I worked out of her house, okay? Like, I actually worked for her and did social media, so I was always working at her home office. And I remember at some point we just had the conversation about it. And she was like, like, reality TV shows always need a villain. And I think I was like, I'll do it. And, or she was like, is that something that you would be, like, comfortable doing? And I said, I'll do it. I don't care. Like, whatever. If we're going to make good TV, we're going to make good TV. Because you have to think about this, guys. This show had been in the works for so long. I looked so dumb to my friends back home, to anyone, my mom, my dad, anyone that I was like, I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be on TV. People were like, TikTok, bitch, when? You said that a year ago. This show took so long to come to fruition. So it was an E exclusive. So E, it's called, like, if you watch it, it says like E original. E shot the pilot and then like basically pushed it to E's production team. And basically, if the people at the round table at E didn't approve it, it wasn't going to be pitched to anywhere else. Like, it was E or nothing, which we loved because we felt like E was a really cool like network to be on. But that's the whole concept that like we had to get greenlit. We had to get the pilot greenlit. Then we had to get the sizzler. Yep, sounds good. Then we had to be like, okay, now we film. Then once we started actually filming and there were cameras, I felt like a little bit justified in me telling all my friends back home I was going to be on TV, but it took a full calendar year for all of that to like take place. So by this point, I was like, this show has to succeed. My life is on the line. Like, if we're going to do reality TV, we're going to fucking do it. And I want it to do so well. So I remember Kristin's like, kind of, we all need a villain. Like, what are your thoughts? And I remember she was like, listen, it worked out for me. And she did say this. I remember this exact words that she said. She said, I will have your back. I will look out for you. Like, I'll have your back. And I know she meant it. I could just see it in her eyes. And her and I were friends at that time. And like, she did mean it. And she did look out for me. Like, fully after everything happened. And that's why a lot of people ask me all the time, like the most asked question, like, were you so upset to see that you were the villain? I can't believe they made you the villain. I was like, what? It was best case scenario for me because I was so prepared because I knew I was the villain because I made myself the villain. Nowadays, if you do that in reality TV, I feel like it's pretty obvious. / maybe I was just a good actress. I don't know. But like, I feel like it's pretty obvious if you do that these days because someone always wants to be the villain on The Bachelor or someone always wants to be the girl that stands out and like, you can get more airtime. I don't know. But at the time, that is what I wanted. I wanted more airtime. And I also was just like, obsessed with impressing the producers. Like anything they told me to do, if they were like jump, I'm like, off of what? Like literally anything you want, I'll do. I'll say anything. There's these things called like sound bites or like one-liners or like, your interview questions. And I would be obsessed with impressing them or giving them what they wanted. Like they could have literally been like, say you hate your mom. I'd be like, I hate my mom. Like anything. I'm like, I'll say anything. So really wanted it to succeed. There was also this underlying kind of like competition. And I don't think anyone really probably is going to remember this, but I wish I could talk to other castmates about it. I should say something to North about it because it was such a thing at the time. So we were filming in Nashville in 2018. E was filming our show, and then CMT was filming another show in Nashville. And there weren't really any reality TV shows in Nashville at the time. There hadn't been one since like 2008 called like Heartbreak in Nashville, some reality dating show in Nashville. I don't know. There just was not any reality TV shows in Nashville yet. There's no Real Housewives. There's none of that. So anyways, CMT comes out and says that they're filming the show, and all these people we know get cast for this CMT show. But the CMT Nashville reality show was a lot more like, we're following around musicians, we're following around people in their day-to-day lives. They wanted it to be more like Southern Charm-esque, I think. And we were all so stressed. Now, I'm really sorry to anyone that was on that show, but I'm just going to call a spade a spade. That show bombed. It was like not picked back up, and it did not do well, which is crazy because Adam DeVello, who did The Hills and did Laguna Beach, he was the one that freaking did the show. It was cinematically so much more beautiful than ours. Like, you watched it and the music was better, and the freaking everything was better because CMT had the rights to all the music. Like, everything about their show was more beautiful than ours, but ours was just like a better reality TV show. But at the time, we were trying to beat them in filming. We were like, we want to film before them, so our show comes out before them. We want to do this. And then it was so funny when it all came down to it. Like, no one watched that show and it came out before ours, and we were like, we don't care. But this is how much we like desperately wanted ours to succeed. I remember in my 1-bedroom apartment, I turned on E, and I watched E series that can't, specifically I looked up what reality shows on E got canceled. I looked them up, and then I went and watched it. There was a show about bartenders or something. The Abbey. I think it was called The Abbey. I don't know. I think it was called The Abbey. I'll have to fact check that. Anyways, I looked up that show and I watched it because I wanted to see what they did wrong. I'm like, I've seen Vanderpump. I've seen all these other shows. I've seen the Kardashians. I know the ones to succeed. I want to watch what people do wrong, and I want to make sure we don't do that. And I think the kicker was whenever you try to create too much drama that's too obviously faked, and there's too many storylines and there's too much going on. So anyways, your girl did her fucking research because she wanted the show to be successful. So anyways, we didn't have like reunions. We didn't have any of those things like how Bravo has. Sorry, I'm trying to read my notes here. Talk about which employees were real and which ones were fake. So Worth was technically a fake employee. Taylor, bless her heart, she got jerked around so many times. She never really wanted to work there, but she was like, I want to be on the show. I need a storyline. She was the model at some point. So this is also a good thing to note about just my job at Uncommon James. And I want to just make this very clear. This is not like a dig, but this is just giving you guys the behind the scenes inside scoop of my like job life at Uncommon James, and also like the show aspect of it. And I can't remember, I think I've spoken about this like on either my podcast briefly or just like on other people's podcasts, or maybe just like when I'm venting to friends back 4 years ago when I was talking about the job whenever I got fired. But basically, this is, now that I think back, I think, and Kristin might disagree, she really might, but I think this is actually kind of crazy. I will say it was a new company. I will give credit where credit's due, and I will make that very clear. Like, Kristin funded this whole company by herself, and she, you know, it wasn't, I wouldn't call it a startup. Maybe you would call it. Would you call that a startup? I don't know. It's not like she was like getting investors and like praying it worked. Like, I think like it was successful from the jump, and then it blew up after the show, of course, but like right out the gate, because Kristin is so famous and because the jewelry line was so good, it was pretty successful right out the gate. But obviously the show just like catapulted it to the new success. I need you guys to know that when I ran social media, I did the Instagram, I did the Pinterest and Twitter that I guess I didn't really do. And I'm not sure I ever really ended up doing that, to be completely honest. I'm not sure I ever really tweeted. I know I would always upload the collections to Pinterest, but my other responsibilities were, she did give me a pay raise. I think it was like $500 more a month to do the newsletters. This is another issue with me. This is Shannon's problem. Kristin was like, would you feel comfortable doing the newsletters? I'm like, absolutely. I never made a fucking newsletter in my life. And that also is like, as you rewatch the show, a huge, huge thing. Always we were fighting about the newsletters. Always fighting about the newsletters. So like, I should not have said, yes, I could do the newsletters. Like, you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, okay. I'm like Googling, like, well, how do you make a newsletter? It's like, download MailChimp. I'm like, MailChimp. Okay. I'm like literally figuring this shit out. It's always fucked up. And I should never have said, yes, I could do newsletters. Anyways, my job was also the newsletters. And here is the thing that I just think, again, Kristin might not agree with me, but I think this is crazy. I was in charge of doing the photo shoots. That's not crazy. But my job was social media, right? So like in the beginning, Kristin just handed me the like her shots because she would always, every time a collection would launch, she would have a huge photo shoot of herself, like iconic, like, you know, with like a huge massive team, and they'd be like in Cabo or somewhere like gorgeous. And she would always give me those photos. But in between those photos, I needed to have photos of like flat lays. I get that. Totally, I get that. And that's what I did for a while. Guys, if there's one thing about me, I'm gonna buy the shoes. I'm going to buy the shoes. I love shoes. I love shoes so much. I actually need to stop loving shoes so much, but I won't stop. I'm also watching Sex and the City right now. So just like the shoe addiction is to another level. So I need fabulous shoes that are also affordable. And Nine West is coming in clutch. Now, Nine West, I know you guys know what Nine West is because it is one of the world's most recognized brands. Okay. It defines timeless, feminine style, and it translates key trends. Okay. So like all these trendy moments that we're seeing, but they put that into a wearable and attainable style, because like, why do we always fall in love with the shoes that are like thousands of dollars and we can't have them? But Nine West does that same thing. They do these iconic moments, these trends, these really comfortable shoes as well, for a price that is obtainable. And a brand that inspires women everywhere, by the way, to take on the world in style. Because if there's one thing I know about a woman, she's going to feel 10 times better about herself if she got a good pair of shoes on. Also, I feel like you can just like really spruce up your wardrobe. You can wear the same outfit 100 times with a different pair of shoes and it feels brand new. And these shoes are comfy. Like I said, I ain't trying to buy expensive shoes that I can't wear without like strapping band-aids to my heels, to my bunions, to all of it. And Nine West, they don't do that. It is comfy. They're on trend. They're affordable. And Nine West makes shopping trends easier because they have this thing, which I'm obsessed with. So I saw it on their website. It's called their Need It Now edit, which it's really cute. It's like the 9 edit, N-I-N-E, get it, need it now edit. Okay, anyways, they have this curated roundup, right? And it's like of the hottest trends that you've been eyeing, from the city, streets, to office meets, you name it, they've got it. So you can really take Nine West shoes from 9 to 9 with styles that are perfect for the office and a night out in the town. Like I have seen these girls, actually I follow this influencer in New York that like wears these Nine West shoes, and she like wore them paired with this really adorable outfit for the office. And then she wore the exact same shoes to this really sexy after office meet. Like it was like this gorgeous moment. And I was like, wait, that's the same pair of shoes. I'm obsessed. I just really love how Nine West can do it all. And like I said, you can have these trendy moments while still being affordable. So if you guys want to try these shoes, Nine West, I got a discount code. Like this is younger me's dreams coming true. You can visit ninewest.com, and I'm using my own discount code, guys. Visit ninewest.com and use code probably at checkout for 15% off your purchase. That's ninewest.com, and use code probably for 15% off your order. Then it got to the point where she needed more content and we needed to be posting every day. So she started putting me in charge of having these photo shoots with like models. I would call Mark Block. I would hire I would pick the models. Like I would go through his page and pick the models. Then I would like get the models, and then I would have to call. We always use the same photographer, Kelsey Cherry. She's amazing. Shouts out. She's one of my really good friends as well. We would use Kelsey Cherry. I would have to schedule the models. I'd have to schedule Kelsey Cherry. I'd have to go pick up all the snacks and food for the models that day, like craft services, whatever. Then I would get there. Then I'd bring all the jewelry. All of this is still kind of making sense as far as my responsibilities go. Here's where it doesn't always make sense. And I just got to say, it was always my responsibility to dress the models. The models were always dressed in my clothes. My clothes. You guys, I was broke as fuck at this point. I mean, I had like cute style and I had a lot more clothes than most people my age, but I always brought my own clothes for the models to wear. It got to a point where, and then I would be on the set all day. The models would be in and out of my clothes. I would tell the models, to be fair, I would tell the models to like maybe bring some stuff, but a lot of the models would be like, I don't have that. Like, I don't have what you need. Kristin would let me order some things off Amazon. I remember one time I did this shoot with these gorgeous 2 models, and I like sent her all the pictures like behind the scenes, and Kristin was like, this is like so bad. Like, I do not like this. And I was like, oh no. I ordered these headbands off Amazon. Like, I don't know, like what, she was like, it's giving Miami. I wanted to give Palm Springs. I'm like, oh no, I really fucked up. So anyways, you know, it was always my job to bring the clothes. I remember one day after like 6 or 7 shoots with like all these models, I'm always bringing my own clothes. I was like, hey, I ran out of clothes. I ran out of outfits. I have no more outfits for the models to wear. And she was like, okay, you can come to my closet. We went to her closet, took some of her clothes. Also, this means the models always have to be our size. Kristin's a tiny, tiny little human. we borrowed some of her clothes. And then I think it got to a point where I was like, you got any more clothes you're willing to let the models wear? Finally, we started ordering on Revolve and then like returning the clothes. Like I think she had a relationship with Revolve at the time. But like for the most part, I think it's pretty fucking crazy that I was in charge of like hiring the models, booking the models, showing up with the models, like positioning the models, creative directing the models, putting all the jewelry on them. Of course, that makes sense. But like literally creative directing the whole shoot, and they were wearing my clothes, wardrobe stylist, like all this kind of shit. Wait, I'm also trying to remember if they ever had hair and makeup. Did they have hair and makeup? I think we hired hair and makeup for them, or maybe we just told them to come hair and makeup ready. I can't remember. That was always probably a shit show because models don't always know how to do their own makeup. I just think that was kind of crazy. But like that's the only gripe. That's the only gripe I have with my responsibilities in my job. I'm like, I don't know if maybe we should have had some other people helping out with that part. I feel like that was a lot. Like when it was photo shoot day, I was like, I can't talk. It's a photo shoot day. I have to fucking do it all. Okay. Anyways, so we have this photo shoot. Taylor's there. She's like modeling. I can't remember if we actually use these photos or not, but basically they needed to set the scene for us to get to know more of the cast members. And obviously they needed a tiff between me and Britney. So Britney actually for sure was like head honcho manager of the store and all the things. She still works for Uncommon James, is an incredible employee. But let's talk about me. So I was obviously, yes, an employee. And then, Reagan actually did work there too. She was a sales associate and an assistant. For sure we'll have her on. Obviously, I love my Ray. We'll have her back on. But yeah, so this is like how that happened. Okay, so let's just get right into the first episode. Okay, so the first episode, first of all, like love the intro. Like I wasn't cringing yet. I'm like, oh my God, so funny, this music like brings me back. And then they immediately show like, first of all, you film so much. I knew I was going to be, people ask me like, do you know how big of a character you're going to be? I'm like, well, yeah, I was filming fucking 5 days a week and some of my friends were only filming twice a week. So yeah, I knew I'd be up in that bitch. But we filmed so many things that never aired. The way that I wish I would have had the thought process to be like, can you guys tell me which outfits aren't going to make the cut so I can rewear the outfits? Because like number one thing I cringe about other than my teeth were the clothes that I chose to wear in this. Like, I mean, I feel like it's that meme of Kendall Jenner. Okay, this was Coachella 2012. You have to understand it was cool at the time. Like, I don't know if the shit I was wearing was cool at the time. Everything I owned was from Forever 21, but like some of my outfits were really tough to see, tough to relive. But okay, so it intros the episode and it's basically like showing the office at Kristin and Jay's house. Now, this is interesting because I worked for Kristin for probably like 6 or 7 months, 8 months. I don't know. I was the second employee she ever hired. Okay. And I worked for her and I worked in her house upstairs in this like, I don't know, this room upstairs in her house. It was like maybe a office. Yeah, it was an office in the sense that it was like like the size of an office, like half the size of a bedroom. And it was where we shipped orders. It was where I did my social media stuff. It was where we worked, right? That's what we did because I helped ship orders too because there's only 2 of us that worked there, me and Colby. And so we worked there. Well, when the show started airing, they needed to emulate that we were working at Kristin's house and that Jay wanted us out of the house. So they put together this huge office, right? That room was actually like a sitting room in Kristin's house. That was not that glamorous, gorgeous office was absolutely not where we ever worked. It was just for filming. It was like Kristin's like girl glam room, like fun room. And I remember because I would see it at her house and they transformed it into an office and said that's where we worked out of. We never worked out of that place, like literally fucking ever. It was just for the filming set. But it was gorgeous and it did look so cute. Would have loved to work there, but that's not where we actually worked. It was just set up for filming. Okay, so then we pull up. It's a scene with me and Reagan. I'm in the Chevy Equinox. The real ones know. I honestly still get messages every once in a while that will be like, I remember you when you were in your Chevy Equinox. And I'm like, I remember me when I was in my Chevy Equinox, bitch. I fucking loved that girl. I love that Chevy Equinox. That was a good car, okay? Shouts out Chevy, even though I'm a Ford. Ford's never cut me a check, so shouts out Chevy. So anyways, I pull up. So this is an iconic scene in the first episode where I park on the grass that was fully faked. Like, I want to tell you again, I would say 90% of the show real, 10% fake. So that was fake. We needed like a moment where Jay gets mad at all the girls. They asked me to go park my car on the grass. I remember saying, because I actually worked there, knew Kristin, knew Jay. I was like, I'm not parking on his fucking grass. I am not doing that. I am not doing that. You guys, I caught it. I caught it when I rewatched it. It's not a Chevy Equinox that pulls onto the grass. They show, and it's actually funny, when I rewatched this, they had told me like, you know, Jay says you're parked on the grass. And I was like, no, I'm not. But I knew it was part of the like lines and I like wanted to be funny. So I was like, oh no, I can't believe I had parked on the grass. Like, sorry, oops, gotta go move my car or whatever. But I wasn't parked on the grass. And in the fucking scene, you can see, I don't know what brand car it is. I think it was like either a Nissan or like I don't know, some other thing that's not a Chevy, but you see a white SUV that's not my car pull onto the grass. And I'm like, oh, that was production. But yeah, there's that scene that we, park in the grass, whatever. There is a scene in The Office where Kristin says like Pinterest. This is wherever it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to have like real conversations. Like a lot of this isn't going to be fake. And I'm going to get like told off. Like I remember feeling for the first time really like, oh my God, Kristin just totally did that to me. Fuck. Like I think I even might've texted her, like wasn't expecting that conversation to happen on camera. And she was like, yeah, like we got to have these real conversations on camera. That's like what makes a real show. And I'm like, oh God, because she like brought up, and I remember thinking, why didn't she tell me that before? I would have fixed it before, but like, duh, Shannon, like, it's part of the show. Listen up, renters. And that is me. I was a renter forever. I rented for so long. And did you ever feel like you're stuck in this loop of rent payments, just watching your money vanish into thin air? It is time to turn that rent game around and start earning some serious rewards. And that is where Bilt Rewards comes in. And I wish that I knew about this when I was renting, because I feel like people really like throw shade on renting. They're like, it's a bad long-term deal. And like, you're just throwing money down the drain. But like, sometimes that really is the only option. Like I was not in a position to buy a house. So like I had to rent. So I always got to know when people were like, just buy a house. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's so easy. So I have to rent. But it was annoying. Like I did see their point that it felt like you were just throwing money away. All right. So what if I told you that with Bilt Rewards, your rent money is not just paying your landlord, it is secretly plotting to fund your future dream home? Because Bilt's got the inside scoop. Okay. They're turning your rent into a legit investment in your home ownership journey. Again, I wish all the years of renting that I'd known this. So take my advice and jump on this. All right. Because real talk, we've all been there. We're feeling like we're burning cash, where those rent checks are just going to who? The landlord. It's frustrating. Okay. Here's the deal. Bilt Rewards, they've really figured out a way to make this more rewarding. All right. So Bilt is breaking ground as the first rewards program that hooks you up with points on your rent. So even if you're still rocking the old school rent check vibes, Bilt Rewards got your back. Okay. They'll mail the check for you. It's like having a personal rent paying assistant / mom. Cause I remember back in the day, my mom would mail my rent checks. Shouts out. Love you for that. But every month you pay your rent and you watch those Bilt points roll in. So you can use points to jet off on a dream vacation, put your points towards a flight or hotel stay with 500 plus airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties. Like just incredible. Use your points to sweat it out. You know what I mean? Redeem your points to book fitness studio classes. There are so many options. Like, I'm so sad that this didn't exist when I was renting. You can also use your points towards a future rent payment. Hello, free rent money. Or towards a future down payment on a home. So pay rent hassle-free through the Bilt Rewards app, and your rent game just got a major upgrade, because Bilt points have been consistently ranked the highest value point currency by the Points Guy. We love the Points Guy. Everything he says is Bible. And bank rates. Earn points by paying rent right now when you go to joinbilt.com/probably. That's joinbilt, BILT.com/probably. And make sure you're using my URL so that they know that I sent you at joinbilt.com/probably to start earning points with your rent payments today. But she says to me when we're filming in front of Britney, she's like, so Pinterest and Twitter are part of your jobs. And I was like, right, but you told me to put all my energy into Instagram. She's like, right, I did, but like Pinterest and Instagram are part of your jobs and you haven't. And she like had receipts. She's like, you haven't posted a tweet since September. It was like February. I was like, and she's like, the new collection's not on Pinterest. We make sales off Pinterest. And I'm like, And I was like, fuck. I was like, okay, shit. All right. So anyways, that was like when I realized, oh shit, we're gonna have these real conversations like on things. So I was good at my job until I started really slacking at my job. And I want to take like full responsibility for that, because yes, I could say, and as I rewatch the series, I'll call out moments where I thought people were being a little harsh on me, or maybe Kristin was, expecting too much from one little girly swirly who ran the entire fucking social media of this massive empire she was building. Like, probably should have been more like a social media team. But I need to say this and put it on record. Like, you guys, like, I was not a great employee. I was a 22-year-old slacker who was like more interested in drinking. And the second that show came about, it was like, that was my main priority. Like, I was obsessed with like my social media, my Instagram, what I could do. Like, I was absolutely like, the focus wasn't there. And there's this scene where she says like, sometimes I have to light a fire under Shannon's ass to get her going. And I just like had a flashback to like all my report cards ever, because like my teachers would say stuff like that. They'd be like, she doesn't work hard until she gets in trouble. She doesn't like apply herself until she's failing and knows that she has to get a 105 on this next exam to do well. And then she makes the 105. So we're like, if you could have made the 105 all along, why didn't you just do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't do it until I needed to do it. School has never been for me. I would not say work has never been for me. I've always been a hard worker, but I don't know. I've never been diagnosed. I don't know if it's the ADD in me. I don't know if it's this, like, if I really was just being a fuck off 22-year-old slacker that just like got too comfortable in her job. And felt like me and Kristin were friends and I could just like talk to her like this, blah, blah, blah. I look back at text messages that like you guys don't even know about because they weren't a part of the show at all. But like, I look back at some of the ways that I would respond to her as a boss and like as someone now who is in like, I don't know, managerial roles for my own life and my own things. I can't imagine if someone spoke to me like that. Like I can't, the way I would speak to her. So like, well, like she would be like, this is wrong. And I'd be like, well, it's not wrong because blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, girl, like that. You don't speak to people like that in general, especially not your fucking boss. Like, I don't know, like, who's to say? I mean, that was definitely on me, but like maybe, you know, me and Kristin, she made some areas gray with our friendship versus like our working relationship. I don't know, but like you guys, I will hold my hands up and say that like I wasn't the best employee, but I will now say I 100% milked that storyline for the show. They wanted me to be the girl that partied and had fun and whatever. And there was this line I say where they intro me, which by the way, I felt so cool when it was like my intro. I remember watching me and like, ah, and I say, this is the perfect job for me because I don't have to work that hard. That was my idea. I came up with the line, but I was like, they're going to eat this up. Like I knew the producers would love it. And I knew that was my storyline. So I kept it going. But yeah, so like, you know, wasn't the best employee, but also did well sometimes. Okay. Anyways, let's get into, okay, so immediately we're introduced to the tiff, the knocking of horns between me and Britney, okay? Me and Britney on the show. Now, that was real at first. Like, the friction was real at first because Kristin did kind of just say, like, oh, yeah, oh, by the way, Britney is being hired as the manager, and she's also going to be in charge of you. I remember calling Taylor being like, in charge of what? Like calling her off camera being like, what is she going to be in charge of? Like, am I going to send her my Instagram and be like, do you like this feed? Like I send that to Kristin. Like, why would I send that to Britney? There was like a moment, cause me and Britney had a ton of mutual friends. We had known each other for years and years and years outside of filming before ever. And they kind of didn't want us to act like we were friends before. They wanted to act like Britney was just like some like girl that I kind of knew around town. I knew Britney very well. And so anyways, that tip was kind of real at first, but by the time we started filming, I was A-okay with her being the manager. I did not mind at all, but I knew, again, they wanted that to be a storyline. So the friction with me and Britney was real, then it was very fake, and then it became very real again. So, and that last ending is probably because of me. So anyways, let's dive into the next part. So I should then note also they introduced Kelly Henderson as Kristin's best friend. I don't cover too many of those scenes because I was never really in those scenes. The production wanted a clear separation between Kristin's life at her store and Kristin's life with her friend. And they needed a character that Kristin could divulge her like conversations about Jay about, talk about work with, whatever. So like, I'm not trying to skim over those scenes. I'm literally never a part of those scenes. So I don't really like have too much to say about them, but you know, obviously she was a huge cast member in the show as well. And then, there's a scene where we go, it's John's intro. Okay. He's at the East Ivy mansion. He actually lived at this mansion. Our friend, shouts out Ed Clay. He owned the place and John was the groundskeeper. Also, I already know I'm going to do this 100 times. I like whenever I was like talking about it, I was saying John James. And I'm like, it's a good mess up, you know, I'm saying my husband's name by accident, but you know, ignore all of those or take a shot every time I fuck up those two names. Oh, also I had to call him Gurney on the show. And I did not call my boyfriend at the time Gurney, his last name. I called him John, but there was John Stone, Britney's boyfriend. So they were like, that's too confusing. Like you got to call him Stone and him Gurney. So like, I remember took so long for me to get used to. I was like, Gurney, I have to call my boyfriend Gurney. We've been dating for like, I don't know, like 6 months at that point. I was like, I don't call him his last name. Anyways, they intro him as he's writing a song about me. You guys, this is real. They told him that morning, they said, hey, we're going to film a scene with you and Shannon later on. It'd be really great if you could write a song. And he was like, I have tons of songs. Like he's literally a musician. So he's like, I'm perfect. I have tons of songs. He's like, nah, we need you to write a new song, and it needs to be about Shannon. And he was like, okay. I remember thinking he told me it and I was like, this is fucking terrible. Like, you know, being a songwriter he's a very talented songwriter, but it's hard. Like you can't just like write a song when someone says, write a song, monkey. Like you can't just do it. So I will say, I'm still very impressed that he pulled this off because it was a great song. It's a song called I Can't Take You Anywhere. Stream it on Spotify. It's still a great song, but he wrote that song that morning. That is true. He wrote it that morning. And then when I came to his house, he like was like, I want to play the song for you. Like I look back and it's kind of cheesy, but it's also really cute because they would not let me hear the song before. So it really is my real reaction being like, hey, that's cute. And anyways, I remember specifically from that night, I got so drunk because I was so nervous to film in front of John and with John. I don't know why, but I had only filmed scenes like with the girls at this point. I drank so much white wine. That is one thing. They always provided alcohol. Now, it wasn't anything sketchy. They never had anything sketchy happening. They always paid for your Ubers. They would never let anyone drive. But like the consumption of alcohol, highly encouraged. So I drank so much white wine. I didn't do anything to embarrass myself in that scene, but I drank so much white wine that night I like distinctly remember puking my guts up with white wine. Ew, it's so acidic. So yeah, that happened that night. And basically then we go to a photo shoot scene. I don't think we ever used those photos. Maybe we did here and there, but for the most part, I think that photo shoot scene was kind of just set up to kind of like really get to know all the components. I'll never forget though when Taylor's name flashed up on that screen and it said Taylor Monaco, or no, it said Taylor Long. It said Taylor, Shannon's best friend. When we watched that, Taylor was like Shannon's best friend, because Taylor was filming by the time the show was over, Taylor had a huge storyline, but the way they introed her as like Shannon's friend, she was like, really, bitch? And I was like, I don't make the rules, but I kind of love it. Anyways, I am so excited to talk to you guys about Rhoback. I feel like I've been getting some DMs lately about my little walk around the neighborhood outfits. Everyone's like, okay, look at you walking around the neighborhood looking cute, looking comfortable, looking stylish. And that is because I am in Rhoback. So Rhoback actually recently launched a new women's line, because James had worn their stuff before, but now they're doing women's, okay? And it is comfortable. Comfortability would be an understatement. And if you like being comfortable while still looking cute while out and about during your day, because there's no one we're trying to impress more than our neighbors, let's be real, then Rhoback is for you. And let me tell you all about this new active dress that I am literally obsessed with. Okay, it's my new favorite. It is made with their signature GTG technology. All right, you know what that stands for? It stands for gotta go. It allows you to keep your dress on when you are on the go and you gotta go. And it's actually genius because it's so comfortable and so cute. I had no idea this could even exist. All right, I'm just obsessed. I wear it all the time with my little sneakers. I'm obsessed. And recently, anytime that I've gone on a walk after a long day or on the weekends, I'm wearing Rhoback. Like I said, my neighbors are stopping me. They aren't yet, but they will. They will, okay? Between their sunrise shorts, their Steffi skirt, I love that Steffi skirt so much, and dress, you are all set for your walks. Pickleback. What am I? Oh my gosh, girl. Tell me you've been to the bar without telling me you've been to the bar. Pickleball. If you want to play pickleball, this is also a great option, okay? Also, you can wear Rhoback to the bar. I know you could. I love a little casual, a little athleisure to a bar. And finally, Rhoback Swift crew necks and Tempo hoodies are so dang soft. It's unbelievable. I don't know what they did, but I can't take it off. And they pair really well with their skirts, shorts, and even that dress for a comfortable yet cute look. I just throw the crew neck on over a dress for like walking into the night, and I feel like maybe it's just gonna get a little bit chillier, although it's summertime now, so it ain't really getting chilly in the South. But if you have not already, it is the time to try out some Rhoback. So use the code probably on rhoback.com for a generous 20% off your first order and through the end of this week, and that is spelled RHOBACK.com. And that's 20% off all shorts, dresses, hoodies, and more with code probably at rhoback.com. And we are always comfortable with Rhoback. The intro more characters. Taylor's the model for Uncommon James. Now, Taylor did model for Uncommon James several times, but that was like kind of a contrived scene to get all of us together. And then they needed to showcase the rift between me and Britney. So this is set up. Taylor's in hair and makeup. They tell us, they say like, you know, Taylor asks Shannon how work's going, ask her about Britney, whatever. So Taylor does. They specifically, I remember this. They told Britney, I don't know if Britney knew they did this. They told Britney to come to the door right when I was talking about Britney. I don't think Britney knew that, but that was very set up. And I thought Britney was in on it, okay? I thought she was in on it. Apparently she was not. So she really did just walk up on me being like, I'm not gonna let Britney be the boss of me. That's fucking stupid. So that was real for her. For me, it felt fake, but now I'm realizing it wasn't fake for her. So she walks in, and then this next part, like you guys, like I'm truly like cringing so hard. It has to be noted as well. Reagan bringing a whole watermelon. That is true. I told her to bring like craft services, like power bars and like waters and like, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, some like fruit for the model, like watermelon, whatever. She brings a whole watermelon. That is such an iconic scene. I'm like, Reagan, did you just bring a whole watermelon? She's like, yeah, I kind of blacked out in the grocery store. And I'm like, what are we going to cut that with? She's like, I don't know. Like genuinely so fucking funny. Anyways, so that there is a scene where Britney walks in, whatever. And then at the end, we're all closing up. Okay. We're all closing up and packing up the shoot. It's a wrap, whatever. And I say this line, and this is what I'm like, wow. When I was rewatching this, I was like, I have to make some amends. Like at the time, I remember thinking, because again, I was so desperate to impress these producers. I was so desperate to make good TV. I was so desperate to give them a good villain, right? That I remember saying this line, and the memory I have in my brain before I just rewatched this yesterday was, oh my God, crushed it. Oh my God, such a good line. I say this line to, and even to be fair, the producers were like, oh my God, when you said that, we were like gold. And I was like, ee. I say this line to Britney. She comes over. She's like, I heard y'all's little powwow. I'm like, oh, what? Like, what were, she was like, I heard y'all talking about me. And I was like, oh yeah, me and Taylor talking about you. Like, what's up? And she was like, I heard you say, like, you know, you weren't sure about me being your boss. And I said, I would have said it to your face, but it was just easier to say behind your back. The like visceral tone in my voice when I said it to her, my stupid big fucking teeth looking at her and being like, I would have said it to your face, but it was just easier to say behind your back. Like, ooh, just like, it was so mean girl, nasty. And again, I know in my mind, I was playing a part. In Britney's mind, I wasn't. Like, that must have just been like, and also the same way I felt proud for, like, you know, ooh, the producers like, ooh, yeah, like, that must have been embarrassing for her. And I don't want to speak on her emotions. I don't know that, but like, that could have been a moment where she felt like embarrassed that someone would just like say that to her fucking face in front of all these cameras and producers and whatever. Like, wow, such little respect. That's crazy. And then I also say, there's another part where we go for like an after show. I didn't realize at the time when they show us at the basement for Gurney's show that like they show me and like Worth like canoodling. And I'm like, that was definitely a setup for the next episode, which we'll get to with Worth about the love triangle. But I even say in that, I go, even Britney's here, talking about coming to John's show. I go, even Britney's here, which is great, which is impressive because it means she managed to remove the stick out of her ass. Like that wasn't an interview. That was way after we wrapped. Like, I would have just been like so happy I said that. Like, it's just mean. Like, I can imagine me and Britney rewatching this and being like, what a bitch. Like, you're making everyone laugh. You're making the producers happy, but like at whose expense? Like, I do need to like say like all of it made good TV. Yes, I don't regret being the villain, but like I will get into it more and more, but I really doubled down after the show aired and after things were awkward with me and Britney. I think I really doubled down on like, oh, I was just playing a part. Oh, I was just being the villain. Like, you knew it. You knew I was doing this. Like, okay, Shannon, but at whose expense? Like, there are things that I realize now as a 30-year-old woman are just like not super cool to double down on. Why do you double down on being a mean girl? Like, it's just not nice. So anyways, I think I expected her to get over it as quickly as I got over stuff that I thought was fake or knew was fake. And you can't force people to feel a way that they don't feel. They're allowed to have all their emotions. And I'm sure there was a large range of those. So anyways, again, I doubt she'll ever want to be on this rewatch episode, but I do need to say all of those things. So then let's see. Oh, I have to say this. Gurney's show, I was late to that and the producers were so pissed. My friend, I know, will not mind if I say this. I don't have to say her name or anything, but like she'll listen and she'll be like, LOL, that was me. My friend calls me. I'm in the Uber showing up to John's show. I'm really excited. We have like a big night of filming. It's going to be cool. It's John's show. John's show is waiting to start because they're waiting for the film crew to start because they're waiting for me to get there to get mic'd up. My friend calls me in the Uber. She texts me that, can I call you really quick? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in the Uber on the way to filming. Me like couldn't stop telling people I was on the way to filming. Sorry, I'm filming. Sorry, like I'm filming. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm still mic'd up. It's crazy. I'm filming. But I was like, yeah, sure. I'm on the way to filming. What's up? She's like, can I call you really quick? She tells me I'm 3 minutes away from this venue. She says, and they wanted me to be like the last one there to like whatever. She was like, hey, she tells me she's getting a divorce. Okay. She had been married for not a long time. It was a big deal. I was like, whoa. I was like, one, going to be a real fucking friend and talk to my friend who's literally just told me she's getting a divorce when I was a bridesmaid in her wedding. Two, like, I was like, I can't just be like, oh my God, that's so sorry. That's so sad. I'm filming. Gotta run. Like, I can't do that. Like, even if I wasn't being a real friend, which I was like, I can't just like, nah, hang up. Like, this is crazy. I sat in the car, talked to her for however long I needed to talk to her. I don't know. It was probably about half an hour. They were literally blowing my phone up. I was literally texting them like, my friend's getting divorced. And they were like, we don't give a fuck. Get in here to film. Everyone is waiting on you. I was like, I can't. I'm talking to my friend. She needs you right now. They're like, oh, we need you right now. I just remember that being really dramatic and then being like, you literally have to come inside and start filming. And I was like, I can't. I want to film with my friend. Anyways, that was a moment that reminded me of it. Okay. I wrote on my notes, the teeth journey begins just because, yeah, I mean, after this episode aired was whenever my teeth were trending on Twitter. If you recall, Very Cavallari was trending number 3, I think, on Twitter, and rounding up the number 7 or 11 spot, I can't remember, not high, not low, was Shannon's teeth. Hashtag Shannon's teeth. Tough to see, you know, tough to see because at the time it's so crazy. I was like, why is everyone so fixated on my teeth? It's so weird. And now I'm like, holy fucking shit, Batman. Like, damn, girl, you had some chompers. Okay. Look at those teeth that you like wind up and they like chatter across the fucking floor. It was crazy. Okay. And then it ends with us at a party at John's house where I just proceeded to be like a total cunt, which some parts were kind of fun. I mean, I did kind of chuckle to myself whenever me and Taylor were like snickering, being like, work, work, work. Am I talking about work? I'm not talking about work, work, work. Or like, I mean, that to me was like innocent little snarky stuff, but some of the stuff I was like, not nice. So we will continue to rewatch these episodes. We will continue to cringe and recap what was real, what was fake. We have a great episode coming up for you guys with Worth. Again, I'm going to spread these out. So TBD, maybe this will get me more time to convince other cast members to be on it. So love you guys. I hope you are enjoying these recap episodes as much as I am. And also, you know, I don't make residuals from the episode. So if you don't want to rewatch it, that's okay. People ask that. They're like, did you not make residuals from this? I'm like, no, I don't make a penny. We were paid $1,500 an episode, but only the episodes you appeared in. So there were a couple episodes, a couple cast members like weren't in for, or maybe they were in it for like, you had to be in it for at least 5 minutes or something, for like 1 minute. There was some rule, like 30 seconds, 1 minute. I don't know. There was a cap. I was in every episode the first season, but like some people were like, I didn't get paid for episode 2. And I'm like, oh my God. And I remember when we got those checks, they weren't all at once, by the way. We got like 1,500. We got them like as they aired. Yeah, I mean, I literally felt like I was fucking loaded. I was like, I am literally the richest person I know. I have so much money. I probably spent it so quickly. But yeah, I think all the other cast members continue to what's the word? Negotiate higher rates as the seasons went on. I myself personally was not included in those. So we'll get to all of that. There's so much to get to. But yeah, looking forward to recapping all of this with you guys. I love you so much. Bye.